Welcome to this month's edition of Okaloosa Eye on Crime, where we're focusing on a number of unsolved murders, one of which dates back nearly 50 years.
Yep, and we also capture some moments from National Police Week and a special recognition from one of our county's top law enforcement officers. Let's get started.
So first up, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is still searching for some information in a 12-year-old homicide. 32-year-old Paris Matthews was shot to death at his Fort Walton Beach apartment. And the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is hoping anyone might have some information that can help them solve this case. Now, Matthews was shot once around midnight back on April 29th of 2013 at Renee Lynn Apartments there on Woodham Street in Fort Walton Beach. Two men knocked on the door and then barged in after he opened it. The two suspects involved had their faces partially covered. Now, one was described as a black male. The other is either a light-skinned black male or white male. Pair was last seen running on the north side of the apartment complex, but anybody with any information, of course, you can contact Crime Stoppers 863-TIPS, EmeraldCoastCrimeStoppers.com, or the P3 TIPS mobile app.
Yes, and not giving up on these cases because some of these that are decades old have been solved in recent years. Here comes one, though, that's like 47 years old. It's Bonnie Reither's case. Her partially decomposed body was found at Ferry Park on Hughes Street in Fort Walton Beach back on April 11th, 1978. Reither's blue 1976 Ford Pinto was located in the Ferry Park parking lot, and she was last seen in the early morning hours of April 5th, leaving the Continental Club on North Eglin Parkway. So anyone with info on this case, you can of course contact the Fort Walton Beach Police Department or Crime Stoppers 863-TIPS, download the P3 TIPS app or EmeraldCoastCrimeStoppers.com, and always remember that tips are anonymous and you are eligible for up to $3,000 in rewards if your tip leads to an arrest.
And we're actually going to go now to a recent homicide that the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office is investigating. It's a shooting that left one man dead, a second person injured near the intersection of Shirley Drive and Marlar Street near Fort Walton Beach back on April 26th. Deputies called to the location to a report of shots fired about 2:30 that afternoon. It is actively being investigated, but of course investigators would love it if anyone could provide some more information, and of course you can do that through Crime Stoppers.
That's right, and ditto with this next case when 4 years ago 28-year-old Stoney Mathis was shot and killed outside of his home on Bennett's End in Fort Walton Beach on June 7th. Deputies arrived to the area around 2 p.m. and they found Mathis dead on a wooden traffic island in front of his home, and he had suffered multiple gunshot wounds. OCSO investigators say they received reports of two cars seen in the vicinity prior to the shooting. One was a silver or grayish Kia Soul with two black males inside, and there was also reports of a dark gray sedan. So investigators with this one are also currently pursuing some active leads, but they're hoping that there's someone out there that would have a tip that will help them make that next step.
Yep, and as you can see, investigators never give up on any of these cases, and there's always hope that they'll get these solved. So now, if you're wondering if Crime Stoppers works, you can just listen to the Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers year-to-date 2025 statistics. We've had over 550 tips that have led to 32 arrests, which cleared 41 cases for our local law enforcement partners. And the Board of Directors, the Civilian Board of Directors, has approved almost $15,000 in rewards so far this year. So we're already ahead of what we paid out last year.
Yeah, and that's what I would call a major impact in the community. Next up, we're going to go through some of the people that are on the run that we're trying to locate, by local law enforcement that is, and let you know what you can do to help.
Yep, and we're going to start with letting you know that they are wanted as of today's taping date, which is May 28th, 2025. And first up is a new face to the show this month, Ryan Philip Francis Thomas. He's 28 years old. He's wanted for felony cruelty toward child, lewd and lascivious battery on a victim 12 to 16 years of age, last known to live in Valparaiso.
And this is Cordrick Markeith Brown. Brown is wanted by the Crestview PD for felony failure to appear for second-degree murder as well as violation of probation for robbery. He was last known to live on Anderson Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
And Walton County deputies are searching for 36-year-old Robert Carlos Cruz for felony violation of probation, and he was last known to live over in Panama City.
And contact Crime Stoppers if you've got any information on Paul Austin Griner. Griner is wanted for felony sexual assault. His last known address was on Landview Drive in Fort Walton Beach.
Here's 60-year-old Terry James Hennesser. He's wanted for felony failure to register as a sexual offender, last known to live in Valparaiso.
Rene Izquierdo Lopez, 47 years old, and he's wanted for sexual battery on a victim under the age of 12, as well as lewd and lascivious molestation.
And deputies are still searching for Matthew Ryan Richard for felony violation of probation for travel to meet after use of computer to lure child.
Yeah, and here we have another felony sexual battery and lewd and lascivious molestation fugitive. It's 32-year-old Timothy Tyler Turner, and Turner's last known address was Red Barrow Road in Baker.
And our next individual is wanted for felony failure to appear for 2 counts of battery on an officer or firefighter, and that's 41-year-old Clint Wayne Covey.
Switching over to the Walton County Sheriff's Office, they're looking for Carlos Hernandez Espano. He's wanted for felony violation of probation.
Some good news to report. Patrick Todd Cannon can be removed. He's been located since our last show.
Still looking, however, for Ronald Schaefer. We don't have a photo available of Schaefer, but he's a 67-year-old white male, and he's wanted for felony aggravated battery.
Next up is 41-year-old Brian Keith McGee. He's wanted for felony violation of probation for grand theft, fraud, as well as organized communications fraud.
And Ann Margaret Mary Marsh has been on our list for a while. She's wanted for failure to appear on charges of theft and elderly abuse. Her last known address was Madeline's Path in Fort Walton Beach.
And this one, I'll give a big sigh of relief to everybody up in the north part of our county, and that's that Richard Zachary Wagner was arrested and taken into custody.
Yep, saw that news release. Next up is Denise Evelyn Freites. She's wanted for felony VOP for DUI, fleeing and eluding, and possession of a controlled substance. Last known address was in Pensacola.
And here's 30-year-old Taylor Coughlin. He's wanted for felony fraud, last known to live on Owen Street in Niceville.
Dontavius Rashad Hosley is wanted for felony failure to appear for fleeing and eluding, larceny, resisting arrest without violence, and smuggling contraband into a detention facility.
59-year-old Lincoln Anthony Ricketts. He's wanted for felony failure to appear for driving while license suspended or revoked with prior convictions, resisting arrest without violence, and giving a false ID to law enforcement.
And another long list for Alonzo Borum. Borum's wanted for felony failure to appear for fleeing and eluding, resisting arrest without violence, possession of a controlled substance, and possession of narcotics equipment. Borum's last known address was Shrewsbury Road in Mary Esther.
All right, we'll see if I can say this one right. It's 24-year-old Rogelio de la Cruz Rosquero. He's wanted for felony possession of child pornography and use of a two-way communication device to facilitate a felony.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to track him down, and especially this next one as well. John William Galvo Saab. He's 22 years old, wanted for first-degree premeditated murder in the shooting death of a 48-year-old Fort Walton Beach man back on March 17, 2021 in Capri Commons Mobile Home Park. He had an address on Patio Road in Fort Walton Beach prior to the murder, but he left this area shortly afterwards, and investigators have been unable to locate him. They are still actively looking.
Well, Northwest Florida State College Public Safety Memorial was the site once again of a special service to commemorate local fallen law enforcement officers and their public safety counterparts during National Police Week.
And the keynote speaker this year was Crystal Campbell May, the widow of Walton County Sheriff's Deputy William May, who had lost his life last month in the line of duty while responding to a disturbance.
to jump into our second list of folks that are on the run. Remember, if you need some cash, if you turn one of them in, you might just get a cash reward. So first up on this list is Ryan Quinn Buholtz. We don't have a photo of him, but he's a 43-year-old white male. He's wanted for felony driving while license suspended or revoked, reckless driving, as well as DUI with serious bodily injury to another.
Yeah, and we don't have a pic available for James Clayton Foote either, but he's wanted for felony burglary, illegal use of a credit card, theft, trespassing, and criminal mischief. He's 56 years old, a white male.
And we've got more good news to report, and that is that David Allen Simmons has been located since our last show.
Still trying to track down Oswaldo Avalos Camacho. He's wanted for felony failure to appear for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. Last known address, Williams Court in Fort Walton Beach.
38-year-old Casey Scott Dishman, whose last known address was in Destin. He's wanted for felony failure to appear for resisting arrest without violence, possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell, as well as other narcotics charges.
And take a look at Richard Kelly Harrison. He's wanted for felony fraud. Harrison's last known address was in Milton.
Here's 72-year-old Donald Joe Mitchell. He's wanted for DUI and driving while license suspended or revoked. Last known to live out in Navarre.
And they're trying to locate Charles Earl Boykin because Boykin's wanted for felony failure to register as a sexual offender.
Antonio DeJuan Wallace, he's 26 years old. He's wanted for felony illegal use of a credit card, fraud, theft, and burglary.
And another person wanted for failure to register as a sex offender is Richard Grady. Grady's wanted also for felony VOP for sexual battery with force.
And here's another one Walton County deputies are searching for. That's 42-year-old Bradley Scott Weinheimer. They're looking for him for felony violation of probation.
Also trying to locate Tad Keith Bowers, who's wanted for violation of probation on an original charge of child neglect.
Another one we don't have a photo of, but it's 45-year-old Jermaine Allen Hawkins, and he's being sought for fraud.
Carol Hardy is 66 years old, and we don't have a photo of Carol either, but she is wanted for felony exploitation of an elderly person, that is, last known to live on Wilson Street in Crestview.
Here's one we do have a photo of. That's 60-year-old Clenny Terrell Davis. He's wanted for felony violation of probation for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon and grand theft, last known to live on Auburn Road up in Crestview.
Christian Devontae Nix, last known address was on 4th Avenue in Shalimar. Nix is wanted for felony failure to appear for fleeing and eluding, operating a vehicle without a license, and destroying evidence.
Here's 33-year-old Jamal Darius Ferguson. He's wanted for felony fleeing and eluding, possession of a weapon by a convicted felon, as well as resisting an officer, last known to live on Lakeview Drive in Crestview.
And law enforcement officers are trying to find Joyce Jean Richmond. She's 25 years old, and she's wanted for felony failure to appear for driving without a valid license, but also sexual offender failure to notify of intent to move.
And we're going back to Walton County for this one. This is a new face to the show this month. That's 46-year-old Reginald Lowell Saunders III. He's being sought for felony grand theft.
And this is David Michael Williams, who's wanted for felony VOP on multiple counts of grand theft, theft from the elderly, and fraud.
Brennan Shane Dickinson, who's 32 years old. He's wanted for felony possession of a weapon or ammo by a convicted felon, burglary, larceny, as well as violation of probation, last known to live on Harmony Lane in Crestview.
I think Angela Dawn Tripp's been on our list for a while as well. She's 54 years old, and Tripp's wanted for failure to appear for exploitation of the elderly. Her last known address was Crown Creek Circle in Crestview.
Wrapping up this list is 30-year-old Tyler Earl Noel Hazelrig. He's wanted for felony failure to register as a sexual offender, last known to live on 23rd Street in Niceville.
Wow, that's quite a list. Now, we all know that one person can have a big impact on future generations, and the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard says Chief Deputy Ken Lepee is a prime example of that.
That's right, and as a longtime, extremely dedicated and active member of the Honor Guard, he became a legacy role model for leadership, unwavering commitment, and mentorship.
Here we go.
Oh, amazing. Yes. Bring them all in.
So the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Honor Guard extends its deepest gratitude for Chief Deputy Ken Lepee, to all of us. Exceptional service as a founding member of the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Honor Guard. Chief Deputy Lepee's unwavering commitment to excellence and honoring our fallen comrades has profoundly impacted our team and the entire Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office. Throughout Chief Deputy LaPee's tenure, his leadership, professionalism, dedication, and support have formed the bedrock of Honor Guard. The traditions and standards that Chief Deputy LaPee held establish and serve as a beacon for those who follow, ensuring we honor the fallen with the utmost respect and dignity. Chief Deputy LaPee's commitment goes far beyond the uniform. Whether standing vigil at memorial services, presenting the colors with precision, or supporting fellow officers during moments of loss, remembrance, has served as a model of honor and respect. Chief Deputy LaPee's continued support, mentorship, and selfless contribution have not gone unnoticed even after his time in active service. His willingness to guide and advise upholding the values of the Honor Guard embodies the highest ideals of law enforcement. The impact of Chief Deputy LaPee's dedication will resonate for generations to come, and we are eternally grateful.
We know, those of us in our Sheriff's Office family, we know loss, and we know ceremony and honor, and what these folks do in the Honor Guard is not often recognized for its importance outside of our family. But we have an incredible group of committed, quiet professionals that do everything in their power to make sure people are honored appropriately. As we've recently seen with Deputy May next to us, these people will jump in and do anything and everything to make sure that honor, sacrifice, and service is appropriately honored. And I'm speechless. I don't know. It's overwhelming, really. And I got to say thank you to my family because the things that we did in Honor Guard required a lot of time away from our family, a lot of travel. For years now, the Honor Guard has traveled to any line of duty death in the state of Florida or within reasonable driving distance. So that requires a lot of travel time, and it requires you to have to see a lot of grief.
Get one of those down first.
Wide angle lens. It's heavy. It's very heavy.
Right.
So as you can see, he was pretty much surprised about this
Yes.
event that took place at a OCSO swearing in and promotions thing, but it was essentially the top part of his uniform, as you can see, his Honor Guard uniform encased in a shadow box. So he's going to put that in a special place, I'm sure. Coming up next, we've got this list of fugitives that continues with Brad Williams Evans, who's wanted for felony failure to appear for possession of a firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, possession of narcotics, and possession of narcotics equipment.
68-year-old Dara Suzanne Giancola, she's wanted for felony failure to appear for leaving the scene of an accident, DUI with injury or property damage, bribery of or by public official, as well as resisting arrest without violence, last known to live on Hunt Club Street in Fort Walton Beach.
And Gregory Adam Carroll's wanted for felony battery on a person 65 or older and non-payment of child support. Carroll's last known address was on Martin Street in Crestview.
And the Walton County Sheriff's Office is looking for 33-year-old Jeffrey Blake Shaw for felony violation of probation.
Yes, Walton County is also looking for Rashawn Jamie Joseph for felony grand theft and forgery.
We don't have a photo, but 26-year-old Lacomriac Troutman is wanted by the Crestview Police Department for felony aggravated battery, last known to live on Bel Air Drive in Crestview.
We got another felony fraud and exploitation of the elderly case, this one involving Jerome Daniel Mason. We don't have a photo available. Unfortunately, he's a 40-year-old white male.
Here's 46-year-old Scott Daniel Sconyers. He's wanted for violation of probation for DUI and fleeing and eluding, last known to live out in Destin.
David Shane White is wanted for felony use of a two-way communication device to facilitate a felony and distributing obscene material to a minor.
This one's been on the show for a while. That's 34-year-old Anthony Michael Frodely. He's wanted for violation of probation for grand theft, trafficking in stolen property, and providing false information to a pawnbroker.
And we've got another laundry list of charges with Todd Wilson Inman because he's wanted for felony VOP for driving with a license that had been suspended or revoked, passing 10 or more forged notes, possession of a controlled substance, providing false information to a pawnbroker, and grand theft. Last known address, Henry Lane in Mossyhead.
And we don't have a photo of 34-year-old Brandon Dalton West, but he is wanted for sexual assault.
Donald Lee Chapman was last known to live over on Evergreen Drive in Mary Esther. He's wanted for felony VOP for leaving the scene of an accident, attempting to flee law enforcement, driving with his license suspended or revoked, and resisting an officer.
49-year-old Tyrone Mandrell Frost, who was last known to live on Nellie Drive in Santa Rosa Beach, he's being sought for felony violation of probation for burglary.
And wrapping up this list, Mayiki Jamal Boyd, wanted for felony VOP for grand theft and dealing in stolen property. He is also wanted for non-payment of child support. His last known address was on Long Drive in Crestview.
Well, congratulations to the Orange County Sheriff's Office for taking first place in our recent annual Deputies Tony Forgione and Ray Hamilton Memorial SWAT competition. Now, the City of Tallahassee Police Department also placed second, and our own OCSO Special Response Team took third place.
And you had 18 teams, both military and SWAT, competing in this 8 events over 2 days. And the event, of course, paying tribute to fallen OCSO SRT members Tony Forgione and Corporal Ray Hamilton. That was always a special event, and this year's no different.
The event's very special to us. We're here to honor Deputy Anthony Forgione and Corporal Ray Hamilton, both of which were killed in the line of duty during SRT callouts. You know, we've got 20 agencies here from all over the state of Florida. We've got another agency from Alabama here to help us kind of celebrate them and honor them in a way that is very special. The events are built to test SWAT operators, the things that they do on a daily basis. It's a 2-day event, so it's a long event with a total of nine competitions during this event. So it's a full test of everything that they do.
How competitive is it out there? Is a lot of pride on the line with these guys?
It's very competitive, sometimes a little bit, maybe a little bit too competitive, because you know there's a lot on the line. There's a lot of pride, and every team wants to win, right?
And here come some more fugitives we're hoping maybe you can help us locate. We're going to start this list with 39-year-old Danny Burt Mason. He's wanted for felony fleeing and eluding law enforcement, as well as possession of a firearm, last known to live on Clint Mason Road in Crestview.
Alyssa Victoria Hibbert's last known address was in Pensacola, and she's wanted for VOP on charges of child neglect and possession of cocaine.
This one's a little older than most of our fugitives, but 82-year-old J. William Shutter, he's wanted for felony child neglect.
Next up is Jose Alberto Hernandez Cruz. He's wanted for failure to appear for DUI and 2 counts of child neglect. Last known address was Airport Road in Destin.
49-year-old Cameron Emmanuel Sanders, whose last known address was on Lark Street in Fort Walton Beach, He's wanted for felony, fleeing and eluding law enforcement, driving while license suspended or revoked, as well as resisting arrest.
And you can see we don't have a picture of Vincent Jackson, but Jackson's wanted for felony transmission of material harmful to a minor and using a two-way communication device to facilitate a felony.
Contact Crime Stoppers if you know where 51-year-old John Darwin Jesford is. He's wanted for felony, violation of probation, for possession of a controlled substance, and possession of drug paraphernalia.
And wrapping up this list is David Richard Abbott. He's wanted for felony, failure to appear for resisting arrest, and possession of a controlled substance. Abbott's last known address was in Fort Walton Beach.
Well, birthdays are special, and 100-year birthdays surrounded by family, friends, and caretakers are something to truly celebrate.
Sheriff Eric Aiden was honored to get an invitation to a birthday party at Fort Walton Beach Rehabilitation Center for 100-year-old Idella Sherman, who was all smiles for this event.
This is if you want to get at this and put it on the back of your window when you're driving around, speeding around town, we can, make sure we don't pull you over. It tells you that we're friends with law enforcement.
Are you ready to go to jail?
Not yet, maybe next year.
Well, happy birthday. It's my honor to be here for your 100th birthday.
Thank you so much.
You look beautiful.
And another year, another successful Emerald Coast Crime Stoppers Crawfish Boil fundraiser. We've been doing this for about a decade and a half. We had to take a couple years off due to COVID, but we've been back at it for the past 3 years. It's a fantastic community event. The gentleman that comes in, Cajun Crawfish Express, he comes all the way from Louisiana direct to us. It's something that he does special for us because he is retiring, so we appreciate him coming out and his family to help us out. But what a great community turnout, thanks to our law enforcement partners. We had the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office community resource deputies out there. We had the Fort Walton Beach Police Department out there. We had the
That's
Walton
what,
County folks.
Milo, is it?
Their community canine Milo, and I mean, how adorable is he?
He's a
So,
hit everywhere
but
he goes.
I will say
Kinda
this:
like Bo.
we really want to thank our sponsors because we could not do this without them, and that is the Eglin Federal Credit Union, the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office, and the Emerald Coast Funeral Home. And you can see the rest of our sponsors here, but many of these sponsors have been sponsors for years. They really supported the organization, and as you know, as we like to mention every show, it's not something that is funded by taxpayer dollars, so we rely heavily on private donations and fundraising. And as you can hear from our statistics so far this year, it is a tried and true program. It works. You are 100% anonymous, and we do pay the cash rewards. So,
And there's also, I mean, if you haven't been, if you get a chance to go, I'm assuming there's going to be one again next year?
that's the plan.
That's the plan,
That's the
anyway.
plan.
But they do year in and year out. They have a Zydeco band come in, so it's just got just a really cool vibe when you go up there with the music and the classic cars that are there for people to take a look at. So there's a lot going on in addition to just all the great food.
We do have to thank the Sunset Vets of Northwest Florida because they did bring some beautiful corp outs out there, and they do what's called a show and shine, and that really, really made it special as well. But thank you to our community. Thank you to the board members, the civilian board members that came out, and a special thank you to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office Explorers because we
Yes.
could not do this event without their help, helping us set up and take down, and it really has streamlined the process, and we just appreciate them coming out and helping.
Yeah, and that's where we get the person dressed like the crawfish.
The crawfish, which you'll see in some of those
Yes.
pictures as well. Sheriff Aiden ran into the crawfish. You'll see that picture as well. So
He's a trooper because it was hot out there. And that's going to do it for this edition of Okaloosa Eye on Crime. We will catch you next time.